This is Chronicles of an ex-alcoholic. I never forget the first time that I saw a can of beer. I was with my stepfather, right? And we went into this bodega. I got some snacks, and he went to the beer section, pulled out a tall can, I think it was 22 ounces, slit smoked liquor beer with the blue bull on it. Walked over to the counter, paid for it. Guy put the beer in a paper bag, brown paper bag, and my stepfather walked out. Me and my stepfather and I walked out of the bodega, and he twists the brown bag around the beer, pops the lid open, and drinks it. We go home, you know, and it's just a regular day. It wasn't really nothing abnormal about me seeing him drink beer, because he did drink beer every day. It wasn't nothing abnormal. And I know some of y'all may sit back and say, wow, that's crazy that he did that, but it wasn't abnormal for me to go with him to the weed spot to buy weed. I remember I used to spend the night over at my father's house, and he performed the same ritual that my stepfather did. And it was crazy because throughout all my life, I was surrounded around marijuana, beer, overall alcohol. I never forget, like, when I was about like 6, 7 years old, me and my stepfather and I, we were sitting there looking at wrestling. At that time, it was the WWF and not WWE. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And I remember he's, you know, smoking on the spliff, old school, and he's pulling like this. And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and he's like, you want some? I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm geek because, you know, of course, when you're a kid, you want to do adult things. So he gives it to me, and he tells me to pull it, and I pull it, and I start coughing because I have virgin lungs. And then after that, a couple minutes later, you know, I'm geeking, you know, I'm laughing a little bit. And that was like the first time that I've ever had weed. It wouldn't be the last. I remember another time when I was older. As I got older. You know, I think I was about 15, 16 years old. My father got married, right? And I went to the wedding reception. I'm talking to my father's friend, and he's drinking, and I'm like, yo, can I have some of that? And he looks over at my father. My father said, yeah, go ahead, give the boy some of the liquor. So I think it was Hennessy. I don't know. I think it was E&J, Easy Jesus, or Hennessy. I don't know, right? So I'm drinking it, and I'm like, wow, this is all right. And that was the first time I had liquor. Wouldn't be the last. I mean, everybody that I knew either did smoke marijuana or they drunk liquor. You know, my father, he tells me this years later, you know what I'm saying, as an adult, that, you know, I'm West Indian, but he been new. Father's West Indian, my stepmom's Jamaican. And if anybody knows anything about Caribbean people, you know that they like to entertain you. So guess what? My father and my stepmoms had a bar, a small bar, in their home. My grandfather, which was West Indian, and he was married to a Trinidadian, they had a small bar in their home. And I remember one Christmas when we went over my grandfather's house, right? Now, my grandfather's an alcoholic off the rip. He drinks every day. He gets tore up every day. But this time, he was like Super Mario Brother tore up. So, my grandfather, he got the cup in his hand. He's drinking. He puts the cup down. He comes over to me staggering, nodding and stuff and pointing his finger everywhere. And, you know, my father's like, come on, man, come on. He's like, so my grandfather's like telling my father, look. I'm talking to my grandson. Leave me alone. So he comes up to me, right, and gets up in my face. So I'm saying in my mind, man, he better step off because I'm about to knock my grandfather out. You know what I mean? Like, for real, that's how I am. Yo, step off of me. Don't touch me. Don't know none of that. That's how I am. I just want to let y'all know off the rip. You know what I'm saying? This is a side note. If you ever meet me, don't touch me. Don't touch me. I don't like you leaning on me, none of that. We could do the hand dap and all the rest of that, fist pound, all of that. But don't touch me, right? So he don't know. Grandfather's about to get knocked out, right? So he's like, I just want to tell you one thing. So I'm like, what's that, Grandpa? You got a big ass nose. And I'm sitting here looking at this dude like, are you dead ass? You dead ass serious with that? Are you serious with that? Cause last time I checked, I got the nose from my father and my father got the nose from you. So I was around alcohol and marijuana all my life. It was just something that was common. Even when I moved down south, people were drinking and smoking. You know, I had my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts and uncles, they didn't do any drugs. But I had cousins, you know, that weren't blood, we weren't blood related cousins, but you know, we called each other cousins, that would drink. And I would go to their cookouts and they would have red Solo cups. And we as kids knew what was in those red Solo cups. We as kids knew. You see that red, what you call it? I forgot what they call it. But anyway, that red box right there. Right? Don't go over there to that box. You go over there to that green box right there. That's where the soda's at. But that red box right there, that's where the liquor is kept and the beer is kept on ice. So I was submersed and surrounded around looking marijuana all my life. And you know, it's crazy because I saw what, you know, it did to adults. A lot of adults, it made them happy. It made them, you know, party and have a good time. But there were other adults where it didn't do that as much. You know, before my, one of the main reasons why me and my mother and my sister and I moved down south is because this fool, my stepfather, wind up getting fired from MTA. You know, of course, you know how it went. They ran a piss test on him and we left and moved to North Carolina. And then later on, he gonna blame my mom. Years later, he's gonna blame my mom. He said the reason why he started smoking crack because of her. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing in the world. But, you know, drugs consumed him. You know, so I vowed to not, you know, drink and smoke and do any of that. You know, I was into sports, mainly football. I wanted to try out for the football team, but peer pressure, you know, got the best of me because they were like, yo, you were too small. You too small to play football or whatever, right? So, you know, I was into lifting weights and I just was into being healthy, you know? And I would look at these commercials, you know. One of the infamous commercials about drugs was Nancy Reagan with her old wrinkled ass. She'd get on a commercial and say, I just want to tell you, young folks, if anybody offers you drugs, just say no. And then they had another commercial, which was another infamous commercial about drugs. They'll put up an egg and they'll say, this is an egg, this is your brain. And then they'll crack the egg and throw it in the frying pan. And the egg will be frying. And they'll say, this is your brain on drugs. So I was like, man, I'm gonna stay away from that. So later on, I graduated from not college, excuse me, high school. And even though I really didn't graduate from high school, I had to go to Durham Tech to get my high school diploma. So anyway, I got out of high school. And you would think that I was high and drunk the amount of times that I dropped out and flunked and all the rest of that stuff throughout the process of me going to school. But anyway, I maintain, being sober. Anyway, it's a Friday night. I'm hanging out with this dude from Jersey called Rudy. It's 3 other dudes. And that's about 4 or 5 of us. And only two people are drinking and smoking. That's Rudy and another dude, right? So Rudy knew that I was kind of athletic or whatever. I was in the sports and this and that and so forth. And he challenged me. He was like, yo, man, since you so strong and healthy and all of that, come over here and drink this wine. And if you drink a full glass, 2-3 cups, you should be strong enough to not get drunk. And being a fool that I am, or was, I took the challenge. And I'm drinking. And I'm drinking more than I drunk the first time that I had some alcohol, right? And next thing you know, I'm tore up. And the music is sounding better. We're listening, this is the 90s. We're listening to Biggie. We're listening to Nas. We're listening to Capone and Noriega, Mobb Deep, KRS-One, Gangstar, J. Rue the Damager, Group Home, and the list goes on. And it's just like, yo, if this is what being tore up is, I love it. I'm gonna end it right there. I want you to like the video. I want you to comment. I want you to subscribe. I want you to share the video. I'm gonna put this video on both channels, on the old channel and the new. But I want to let you all know that's looking at this video on the old channel called Langston 2092. I will continue doing these series exclusively on Long Live Langston, the new channel. That link will be in the description box as well as in the comment section. It only gets better, man. It only gets better. My name is Langston 2092. I hope to see you. We gonna get it.